the loop and not think about it. And he sent me quite a few loops, and I would come up with a melody or a hook or something from it. And it was interesting because he said he would never even have thought of that for that loop. So it is something completely different that I'm coming up with, that he maybe would have had a tune or something for it, but not what I came up with or the lyrics I came up with. So I think it works really well together.
It does work very well, and the proof is in the music. Now, I want to digress from this discussion for just a bit here and touch on your physicality. You're in Scotland now, correct?
Yes, I am, yes.
And what part of Scotland are you in?
I'm near Loch Lomond.
Oh, the Bonnie Banks. I remember that from my childhood. This is something I'm not familiar with, and I'm sure many of our listeners aren't. What is the music situation like in Scotland? I
am actually, I've never played out live. I've never played live or outside. I actually wouldn't know. There's a lot of independent artists around here, and actually some of them I've met on Twitter and actually now speak to them more and know about them through Twitter than actually in my local area. Obviously, there's lots of other smaller radio stations that play the independent music, but I actually don't know what the music scene is because I've never done it. I'm all online and recording it and just putting it out on the platforms.
Right. Well, that was more or less what I was getting at. Not so much the actual personal appearances, because that's a totally different function. But what I was looking at is the market for the music, for selling or getting it broadcast. Is it difficult to get your music exposed?
I think it's actually quite good because there's lots of platforms for Scotland promoting Scottish music. I think that's quite. And a lot of the things, even through Twitter and through Instagram and things, they'll be like, the Scottish artists for this week are, and they'll promote that for us. So it's actually, I feel quite special there that I'm part of that. And there's a lot of people promoting the artists here.
That's wonderful. I'm going to have to do some research. You could help me if you happen to run across something. I would like to make a contact with the music industry over there, and even get maybe a Twitter connection or something where we could exchange, where I could hear more of the Scottish artists, of the artists from Scotland, and also more of the music and what's getting played over there, other than the monster hits everybody plays. I like to get the individual artists. John Bon Jovial is waving frantically at me, so I know he's got something else he'd like to toss into the conversation.
Well,
go for it.
Yeah, I know that we don't have that much more time, but I was just thinking you touched on not being familiar with the music scene and such because of your online work. But the music that you and Clint do make, if you guys were to get together and if you were to tour, the music is complex. Could it be broken down to a simpler version of it so it could be performed live without taking away the effect that you wanted to have on the listener?
Some of them we have done already. We did do some acoustic covers of it, and we put them out onto Twitter, onto YouTube and things, and they worked really quite well. And we actually did it not similar to live, but basically recorded each of us doing it and put it together, because obviously we're two different places, and that worked really well, and people were very happy with that. We got good feedback from that.
That was an excellent question there, John Bon Jovial. Listen, Iona, before we run out of time, we did this when you were here before. Want to give you a chance again to tell the folks where they can find you online, how they can follow what you're doing in your music, and, of course, buy your music when it's available.
So for the Doubters Dance, that's out on Bandcamp now if people want to buy it, and that actually has 6 alternate versions. We call those the naked mix. So like an acoustic version and different versions of the mixes. And some of that contains the parts that I sent separately initially. So it can show where the song developed from. So we have those on Bandcamp, and when you buy them on Bandcamp, you can actually get those versions even for Silent Sea. That has different versions on there as well. The rest, it's out on all platforms on the 15th of October. You can follow me on Twitter and obviously all the other, so Instagram, and it's all Iona James, and for Clint it would be Clint Slate for his Twitter and his Facebook and Instagram. But all this album will be out on the 15th of October, The Doubter's Dance, with the songs that you're listening to today.
Wonderful. Iona, we thank you so much for staying up late and sharing your late night with us. I really appreciate you spending the time and sharing your music as well. And we will be looking forward to, now there's a part 3 coming, right?
Yes, there is. Yes. Yeah, in the new year.
We will be looking forward to that. Please keep in touch and let us know when that's going to be available. And maybe we can get you and Clint in here together to talk about your production and your creativity. You guys have just done a wonderful job, and we're really, really proud to have you here on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your support, both of you. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Our pleasure, and thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Iona James, here she is with Clint Slate from the Doubter's Dance album, which is available on Bandcamp the 15th of this month. It's called Firefly. Iona James, Clint Slate, right here on the David Bowers Awards. A fascinating sound, and to think they created without ever having met or worked together. I mean, it's one thing to send tracks, but it's another thing when you're actually there and working with each other to create the tracks. And these two do not have that. An amazing, great accomplishment, but great sounding music. You would never know the separation involved there.
A couple of very talented people, and the music, again, I refer to it as an ethereal experience that moves, and I don't think I can say that about too many other pieces of music. I really enjoyed it, and enjoyed the yak with her too. That was great.
And you get the feeling that their heart is in their music, and that makes all the difference in the world. If you feel what you're doing and you like what you feel, you got it. And I like what I feel, and I'm feeling like it's time for you to take us home, John Bon Jovial.
Yes, sir, Mr. Bowers. Folks, you've done it again. Spent another perfectly good hour with us here at the David Bowers Awards, and as always, we really, truly are grateful for your presence today. The David Bowers Awards is broadcast around the world from the studios of Computer Help USA in Naples, Florida, and of course from the beautiful Valley of the Sun in Tempe, Arizona. And we are available for free on most of the major streaming services, including now the all-new podchaser.com /The David Bowers. Be sure to follow the David Bowers Awards on Blog Talk Radio, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and, of course, Facebook. And join us next week for the David Bowers Awards Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern on WRFZ-FM. That's 106.3 on your FM radio dial in Rochester, New York, otherwise known as Rochester Free Radio. And on Blog Talk Radio, Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, and 6 p.m. UTC. So until next week, for the David Bowers and all of us here at the Radio Ranchero, this is the legendary sort of John Bon Jovial saying, hey, be good to each other. You know, we're not out of the woods yet, so keep your distance, and we'll see you next week right here on the David Bowers Awards.